me what it is again. Anywhere in the world, take it mile. Show me the real, you gon' let it out.
Your flavor, vanilla mix on brown cones, rainbow sprinkles on your AP two-tone. I ain't about materials, it's habitual for the ability to get spiritual. I ridicule your decisions in the specimen. Make guys like me had to step up, be the better man. Baby, I know your flavor, green apple colored gators. I ain't a rich man yet, I'm gathering data. I'm saying.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon-E, and we're here on 95 South TV once again. You know, first and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to have this great platform, to have these great guests and these great people on. Secondly, before we get started, I just want to say my partner, Jacob the Great, is not going to be on this particular interview. Y'all pray for him. He was part of the hurricane over this past week, where his city got, I think he told me over 1.4 million people, lights and stuff was cut off in the city or knocked out in the city. And hopefully they'll be back soon. So y'all just pray for him and his family and everybody else in the city. So anyway, we're going to get started with this interview. I have this young lady on here who's been getting it, you know, around the country and the city, been doing big things for a long time. And, you know, and I just read about her bio that she's going to be doing bigger and bigger things. But we're going to get all the way into it. I got the legendary Miss Coxx in the building.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on?
I like that intro. That was good right there. Legendary. Speak that into existence. Hello.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, you know, I was reading up on your bio, and I'm just gonna be 100 with you. You know, when you listen to the music, people may say, "Oh, it lines up with the Meg Thee Stallions or the Lottos or the Cardi B's and all that kind of stuff." But when you hear about your background, it's more of you're not what they call stereotypical Black female that would be doing music.
Absolutely.
You know, you got your song Headboard, you got the music Go Ahead. You know, it gives you the strip club vibes to it, the whole 9 yards, the turn up sound, the whole thing. But when it comes to you in particular, it's different. Now, we're going to go back to the beginning. So you was 10 years old when you first started. Well, let's put it like this. You grew up in Atlanta.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what area of Atlanta did you grow up in?
I actually grew up in East Atlanta, in Decatur. So.
Gotcha. East Decatur. Okay. Is that over there by? Because I used to stay over by the South DeKalb Mall years ago.
Yes, so it's over there. You know the vibes.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I stay out in the Douglasville area now. I used to stay in Clayco for like 11 years, Morrow, Riverdale. So, you know, I stayed in those areas for a little while too. So anyway, so you started rapping when you was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so what got you into rap? What originally inspired you to rap?
So I feel like I've always been a lover of music. My parents would always play different types of music, from hip hop, jazz, R&B type of thing. So when it came to music and just having an ear for it, I was always into it. But when I was 10 years old, we had a family friend that was actually staying in our basement, and he used to always make beats and do his own music and rap to it. And one day I just came downstairs and I heard him making the beats, and I was like, "Oh, I got something to say. I'm gonna rap to it. And he was like, "What? You gonna rap to it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he set it up for me to record, and it kind of just, I freestyled that one. I was just saying whatever came to mind, but it actually like went together and everything. He was like, "What?" So he burned it on the CD, and I let my parents hear it. They was looking at me like, "What? Like this what you want to do?" And I was like, "Yeah." But I didn't really, that was just like my first aha moment, should I say, in regards to being able to be an artist, because I didn't really start seriously performing until a few years later when I became a teenager. And that's when I did the Scream tour with Mine's Behavior, OMG Girls, Diggy Simmons, and all of that type of stuff.
Okay, now let's go into that, because a lot of people don't know, man. We talking about a legendary tour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With Bow Wow and, like you say, OMG and Malice Behavior, and you know, you probably go out to the B2K people, guys early on. immature. I think immature. One of them guys, I think, was early on, whatever. So how? First of all, how did you get on that tour? Let's get into how you got on that tour and how was the tour.
Well, I got onto the tour because I was so in Atlanta, basically. It is a whole bunch of kid and teen talent outside of like, the older heads that do it. So there was a whole sector which actually was made up of Lotto. Like Lotto and I used to perform together when we were younger. At Greenbrier Mall, West End Mall, like we was hitting malls every single weekend. But it was Lotto, Jabais the Kid. Like it was a lot of us. But with that being said, it was one person in particular who was acting as my manager at that particular time, and she knew somebody basically that was affiliated with the tour, and she was like, hey, we're going to do the southern region of the tour. And I was like, really? Like with Mindless Behavior? Because still me, I do music, but just being a fan of Mindless Behavior, like all the other teenage girls at that time, I'm like, I'm about to be with them. Like what? So it worked out though. But we did, like I said, the whole southern region of the tour.
Okay, so when you were doing it, was it the 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 fans every night?
Yeah, it literally was because we did Birmingham. Yeah, like they were selling out for sure. They definitely
Okay,
was. It
okay.
was a whole bunch of screaming people for sure. It was a great experience.
Okay, so for you, an artist that has been on major tours, and a lot of independent artists can't say that. They can't say they've been in on big major tours. A lot of independent artists just do the club scene and
Yeah.
maybe here make a few here and there. So you've been at the height when it comes to the touring part. So give
Hmm.
me the good part, the things that you learned about being on a major tour, and then we're gonna get into the things that you might have seen or been around that you like, okay, those are things to look out for.
For me personally, because I've actually been on two tours, and now I'm on my own tour right now. The main thing that I would say that I enjoy the most is definitely getting to meet the people in each city that are coming to show you love. And like, like I'm big on shaking hands with people, taking pictures and being personable and letting them, hearing what they have to say and all of that stuff like that. So it was good for me, or happy. It made me happy to just be able to reach out and be able to like touch people specifically.
Okay, okay. Now the bad part, the things you might have seen on maybe like if it was a business situation things or what was it about? What was the thing that on about the tour that might have been a turn off or might have had you with your eyebrows a little high on them?
Um, a negative. I would say it's kind of like a check and a balance. So just like you get to meet people that are like excited and stuff like that, like you do have some crazy people with crazy situations. Like you have the people that are supporting, and then you have the people that are like overly supporting, where you have to like beef up your security and making sure that your safety um is priority within situations. I would definitely say that because I've been in a couple situations where it wasn't like it was some almost life threatening situations type of thing. So just because it got too crazy.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So on the part of that tour, did you feel yourself growing when it comes to your stage presence and how you carried yourself? Did you what the things you learned on stage as far as performing? Where do you feel like you benefited or grew over that time frame?
I I grew just simply working on getting out of my head. Like I always love to perform, but each night is more and more people. So, you may go from 200 to 300 to 2,000, 3,000. So, getting over that initial like, the butterflies and everything of performing in front of all of these people. So, I think that would be the thing. Because even when we came back and we did Caribbean Carnival, it was like over 100,000 people. Like it was a lot. So for sure.
On Caribbean Tunnels, where was that at?
In Atlanta, when they came to Atlanta, I had did the Atlanta Caribbean Carnival. I believe it was like 75 to 100,000 people. No, I'm lying. I'm dramatic. It was 50,000 people. But still, that's a lot of people to be
All
performing in
right.
front of. So
Hey, 50,000, 100,000, you can't really tell the difference when it's that many people.
no,
You
you
know, it's a
really
lot of
can.
people.
But if I'm not mistaken, it was 50,000. Don't quote me, but I believe it was 50.
Yeah,
So performing in front of
yeah.
all of
Well,
those people was insane.
yeah. I mean, I bet it was. I mean, did you find when you get on stage, no matter how it is, do you find yourself getting nervous, or because some people say if you don't get nervous, then you need to get out the business because that means you don't care enough if you don't get nervous, no matter what you're doing, if it's
Yeah.
sports or entertainment or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get nervous, but it's only nervous like the few minutes right before stepping foot on stage. Like I always say my quick prayer
Gotcha.
before I get on stage, and then I'm in my head a lot. And then as soon as I step foot and I hear the music, and then I see the people and everything, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm about to have fun. Like I'm having a party up here. So it's just that quick little window of being nervous.
Gotcha. Okay, well, we about to take a quick break, and we right back on 95 South TV. Okay, we back. We back here on 95 South TV. I got Miss Coxx in the building. Unfortunately, my co-host that y'all may be looking for, Jacob the Great, is not here. They had some issues with their lights going out, their power. So we do apologize, and hopefully he'll be back next week. So basically, let's get into what I talked about when we first came on the interview, and when it comes to your life outside of music. So when I
Mm-hmm.
read in your bio, you're saying you went to school, you got a 4-year degree at Miles College,
Mm-hmm.
woo, 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 on the HBCU, because
Ooh.
that we need to do more of is go to HBCUs as much as we can. I got a son; he goes to Fort Valley State, so he's
Ooh,
graduating here
okay,
soon.
period.
Yeah, yeah. He had a chance to go to Miles College. It was between Miles, I think, Fort Valley basically ended up they giving the most money because he was
Oh,
in
I was like,
band.
now why he didn't go to
So
Miles? But okay, it was a money thing. I get you.
yeah, Miles, because I know the Miles guy, they wanted him bad because he went to Forest Park, and if you know anything about Forest Park had their time had one of the baddest bands in Atlanta. You know what I mean, or
Mhm.
whatever. So they used to win all the battle of the band competitions all back when he was in it. So, but anyway, so you went to school for 4 years.
Oh, it froze.
Okay, we good. Okay, you good? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. You froze for a minute, but we back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. So you had an opportunity to go to Mount to be a judge or a lawyer, also. So if you wasn't doing music, which way would you mass communications would have been more what like broadcasting and things of that nature? So what was that? What were you gonna do if you would do something in mass communication side?
So the crazy thing about it is initially when I wanted to go to college, I was like, I want to be a news reporter, a journalist, because I just wanted to, be on TV and still be able to do that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I declared my major. Generally they don't have you declare it right away unless you just know. I declared it, I believe, like my second semester of freshman year, and as I was getting into it and seeing like being able to navigate through it and take some courses and stuff like that. I was like, I don't think that is what I really want to do. So under mass communications, of course, there was different concentrations. So you had like the journalism part, you had the PR, you had the marketing and everything else. So I ultimately ended up trading my concentration into integrated public relations, which is PR and marketing basically. So I felt like that was more interesting to me versus becoming a journalist. Excuse me.
Got you. And as far as saying somebody you want to be possibly a lawyer or a judge, is that something also that you would pursue later on in life, or something that how serious were you about going that route?
That was one of my childhood aspirations: a lawyer, judge, and a pediatrician. Um, and I have 13 nieces and nephews now, so they have kind of ruined the aspect of wanting to be around children. Just because I have to be around them. I don't have any children of my own, so
Yeah.
all 13 of them, they keep me very, very, very busy and occupied. Of course, don't get me wrong, I love being an aunt for sure, but I was just like, I don't really know if being a pediatrician will be my lane. And I feel like I wouldn't be opposed to becoming a lawyer and then a judge if I wasn't doing music. I wouldn't be opposed to that. That wouldn't be too bad.
Okay. Okay. So, your experience at Miles College, 4 years, graduated. What was the biggest takeaways that you got as far as experience in being able to go to a 4 year college? Because a lot of us as Black folks, we don't get to go to have those type of experiences. So, what was your experience at that for those 4 years?
Um, I definitely would say the culture outside of me being from Atlanta, like going to an HBCU it's an experience, and I feel like it's a great experience because you build, not saying that you can't build a family and a unity at any other school, but I don't, it just hits differently. I would say honestly, like fried chicken Wednesdays, like you have things that are staples and stamps that are within the HBCU community. Um, that is like no other, honestly. Like the support, everybody is supporting you and what you have to do. Like we used to have study groups in the dorm rooms where everybody would meet in the lobby and just like it's like everyone wanted to help each other win and succeed. It wasn't really like, oh, I don't really care what you do. You know, if everybody just wanted to
Mhm.
win. Like it was about unity and family. So I definitely would say just being around that, it definitely made me love being around my community for sure.
Okay, so I'm assuming you were doing music also at that time. Did you have the experience of being able to perform at like homecomings or clubs or venues around the city, around the college, where you were getting support from from the people on the campus, or were you like in a sorority, anything like that at all?
So I didn't pledge at all. And crazy story. I didn't actually really start performing or like making it known that I did music until my senior year, which just because I feel like I would have been further along had I started, like I went in, say like, saying who I was and doing what I do. But I feel like when I first got there, because I was still getting acclimated into, switching up and going to school 2, 3 hours away from me, I wanted to have that air of separation. So when I'm at home, that was when I did my music. Everybody knew who Miss Coxx was. When I was on campus, like everybody knew me by like my real name as just being like, a regular person, similar to like, the Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus type of thing. I wanted to keep it separate. And so I would come home every single weekend, be in the studio, like drive home or ride the bus home and always record it and I'll come back. So I kept it separate for the most part until my senior year. I did the homecoming. I did a lot of like the step shows, all of the parties and everything like that. And even with that, everybody was like, "You do music?" Like no one even knew. It was crazy. It was like, oh, what? And I think another thing, because I also had a job when I was in college. Like I worked in the school. We had a restaurant that was next to the cafeteria. So I was the student manager. I used to help cook or I would just run the register in there. And I feel like because I was at such a public place on campus where everybody knows, like, okay, Monday through Friday, we can go see her at this particular time. I think it was best I maneuvered into letting them know that I did music senior year when I was about to leave versus from freshman year, because I had that job from freshman year. And like after I performed at homecoming, it was people coming in there like, oh my God, it was you. So I was like, oh, okay, it made sense.
Okay, okay. Well, we're gonna take another quick break, and I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna go a little bit more in detail this because I got a reason why I'm gonna do this. But I'm gonna go
Okay.
into detail a little bit, and we'll be right back here on 95 South TV. Okay, we back here on 95 South TV. I got the legendary rapper Miss Coxx in the building. So this what I want to say because my son, like I used to manage artists for a long time, and my son took it seriously around about the 11th or 12th grade of high school. And I always told him because I actually kind of got out of that side of the business and said I only get back into it if he's serious about it and he needs me. So the one thing that frustrated me the most was the thing that you did that frustrated me about him because I was like, bro, you've been in school all this time. You and your business partner, your partner in your group, he's in a fraternity, and y'all should be throwing fraternity parties, performing.
Yeah.
Y'all should be at the local club, especially down in Fort Valley. Because if you've ever been to Fort Valley probably got a stoplight and a couple of stores, but you know what I'm saying. Like y'all could be legendary in that city or whatever,
Right.
and then towards the end started trying. I said, y'all should be walking around on the campus with T-shirts on, the
Yeah.
whole nine. And my son, some of his people, they like. My son is a nice looking guy, light skinned, tall, typical, light skinned looking, good looking kid. You know what I'm saying, with good hair, whole thing. So he's a nice looking guy. So I'm just like, bro, you could be doing all kind of stuff on campus and whatever. Because even the administrators knew who they were because he was trying to do something with the radio stations and all kind of stuff. So by the time you got to your senior year and you say you started exposing yourself more to your fellow classmates,
Hmm.
and then you seeing the response you get, did it at any time in your mind did it say, dang, I should have been doing this? Or was you were cool with your decision to wait until your senior year?
I definitely had the thought of, dang, I probably would have been farther had I said that I did music. But then at the same time, I'm a firm believer and everything happens for a reason. So I was like, you know what, it's a reason why I didn't do it. So
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because, I'm like, I guess I'm thinking from when I was that age, how I probably would have did it differently or whatever. But everybody chooses their own path, the way they want to do things. And if
yeah.
you were living with your decision or didn't feel like it was any regret there, then I
Yeah.
understand why.
Yeah.
Why I guess you wanted to stay focused on the
Yeah.
school part, and when the music was time to get back to the music, you get back to the music or whatever, or you do it at home or however you was doing it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
because I still
let's get
graduated
into
summa
this.
cum laude. Like I still, it wasn't just I was like mediocre. I still graduated with honors and stuff like that. So, and then like I said, still having a full time job. So I would wake up, go to class until like 3 o'clock or two o'clock, go to my room, take a nap, and then go to work like every single day. Monday through Friday. Then Friday, I would still do the classes to go to work. Then after I got off of work, I would leave, get in the car, and drive home. Or if I had to like miss a class or miss work or leave early from work to go catch the bus to go home, I was doing that. Like it was, I was running a tight ship.
Okay. Yeah, and that's cool and that's good because you kept the schedule. Because one thing about having a schedule and a deadline is about discipline. So like when I used to have artists and I used to have run my own companies like that. The one thing that I would always tell my artists, I would make my artists do, I have make them have deadlines. So
Mhm.
let's just say you want to put out a new album, you say put it out on October 31st.
Yeah.
So I'm not, and then I would, and then my son sometime he would get because my son was born in January, so I think he's one of those overthinker type people. I forgot what sign that is, but he's one of them
Wait, his birthday
overthinkers.
must be by my
So he would
birthday,
always. When is your birthday?
January 30th.
Oh, he's before your. He's the sign before that. His birthday is January 7th.
Oh, okay. So he's a Capricorn.
Yeah, but he's an overthinker, but I would tell him, I say, just because you make a deadline, it's not saying that like he would get like almost like anxiety or he would get upset at himself if he didn't meet that deadline. And I said it's
Yes.
not about necessarily meeting the deadline. It's about having a deadline. So if you do, let's say you have to push something back a couple of weeks, or you have to do whatever, but you knew this was the time you wanted to put it out,
Right.
but you have to push it back for whatever. You know what I mean? And sometimes you might can even move it up if you see a buzz or you see something going on with
Right.
that makes you want to push it up. The way it gives you what it teaches you to have discipline for yourself and it makes you, and it also teaches you to be serious about what you're doing. Because if you
Right.
always say, if you just say, well, I'm gonna put this out, I'm gonna put this out, end up like Dr. Dre or some of these other artists where it'd be 15, 20 years later, you still ain't put out a new album, then, what are you doing? You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So by you having that discipline yourself, nobody had to tell you what time to do this and what time to do that.
Yeah.
That let me know that you were serious about your craft.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah, so when you would come back to Atlanta, would you have certain studios that you would work out of? Do you have a main producer, or whatever? Because I know that's important to have a sound and all that kind of stuff. So did you have that type
Yes.
of situation?
I had a main producer, and we had a studio inside the house, so it wasn't even like a outside studio. I would come home, go straight to the studio.
Okay, okay. So did you? What about producer wise? Do you have a main engineer producer that you work with?
Hmm. Yep. He'll meet me at the studio. He'll be like, "Okay, what time you get there? 10 o'clock. Cool. Boom. We right there and getting to work."
Now, what was your process? So okay, so was it I need to hear a beat and write, or I got a book full of rhymes that I have, and I from there I get a beat based off of that. So what was your process when writing music, or what is your process?
So it's kind of flipping. It's kind of funny that it's flipping. When I was younger, I used to always write. So I would have like whole songs, verses, hooks, everything already done. And then when I go to the studio, I would just rap it for my producer, and then he would make a beat off of it. But now, in my adult years, I've been more so like mood driven based off of the beats that I hear. So I will go in the studio and hear a beat, and then I will be able to just write to the beat. I still sometimes every now and then, like if I'm in the shower or something, I may just hear like some bars, so I'll jot the bars down. But for the most part, I'll hear the song, hear the beat, and then write to that, and then I can piece like some bars. I'm like, oh, I came up with this bar 2 weeks ago. I can just add that in, or take that out and add that in. So it's a mix of both. But
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So with the song Headboard, you got Lil Durk on it. Was it a song that was that you had that you added him to, or was it a song from the jump that you wanted him to jump on?
So it's actually kind of flipped. It was a song that Dirk had already did. And the person who initially made the first beat to it, he was like, I got this Dirk record. I think you'll go great on it. And when I heard it, I fell in love with the record. And I just, started going crazy with it. But my producer's like, I like the beat, but I feel like it's a little slower. So I want to speed it up just a little bit, give it more feeling into it. So we went in, remade the beat, and that was it basically.
Okay, so did you ever get to meet Dirk or talk to him, communicate with him at all during this time?
I did not. It was more so like my team talking to his team. I haven't gotten a chance to meet him.
Okay, so for that song, okay, you got Go Ahead, you got Headboard. Is that your biggest song to date? Is a Headboard and Go Ahead?
To date, yes, those are the biggest. But I'm super duper excited as far as when my album drops, because I have like so many other records that it's like feel like I said, it feel good mood music that everybody's gonna be like, wow. It's like my show improving moment where
Okay,
they like, okay, cool, you got some records on here.
okay, okay. So as far as at this point, you got a new album coming out. What's the name? You got a name for the album yet?
It's called Mood.
Mood. Okay, so as far as the mood of this album, what
Mood.
is the mood for this album? What are you going? What is your goal that you your fans to get out of this album?
Um, I think from this album, I want people to know that, well, not even just know. I call it mood because it literally has a song for any single mood that you're feeling. Like whether you're in a relationship and you're in love that moment, whether you're going through heartbreak, whether you feel like somebody wasn't loyal to you, whether you feel like you just want to go out and have fun and spend some money. Like it literally has a song for whatever mood that you're in. So that's the main reason why it's called mood. Like, because it doesn't matter how you feel. You could just be like, okay, boom, I'm gonna play track number 3 because I feel happy today. I'm gonna play track number 4, because I feel sad. I need some inspiration right now.
Okay, cool, cool. So we're gonna take another break, and we'll be right back here on 95 South TV.
Okay.
Okay, we back. We back here on 95 South TV. I got my girl, Miss Coxx, in the building.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's Cox
So,
time.
uh, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, Miss Coxx time. Okay, I like that. I like that. So basically, when it comes to um the music and everything that you're doing, do you have who's your inspiration? Who's the females, whether it's yesteryear or current, that you look at and say, either I want to be different from that, or I want to go down that lane, or what's who's the inspirations that in your life musically?
I tell everybody, you can look at all of my other interviews. Missy Elliott. I love, 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 love her as an artist, as an entertainer, as a person, as a mogul in the industry as a whole. Just because she's to me, she's the epitome of a true entertainer from whatever she's doing when she steps foot on stage and how she conducts herself and make sure that she puts on a full production of the show. Definitely Missy Elliott. I would definitely say Eve, Lil Kim, even Moni Love. When I first started, I used to have to go through artist development, and I used to have to learn Moni Love records and attempt to convey the message and see where she took her pauses and working on the wording and all of that type of stuff. So I would definitely say a montage of all of those legendary women would make up Miss Coxx as a whole, as far as the women are
Now,
concerned.
why I like you, because I don't know who you had behind before all this, like that was like mentoring you and developing you and all that. But by you just saying the name Moni Love, a
Yeah.
lot of artists do not go down that road. I ain't never. We've interviewed a few female artists, and I've never really heard nobody mention. And you seem to be fairly young. I ain't gonna ask you your age because I'm a gentleman and I'm old school, so you don't ask a woman her age. If
Thank
people
you.
want to know, they can find that out on their own. But at the same time, I know you young enough to the point where you shouldn't be talking about no Moni Love. You know what I'm saying? But that let me know that you did your homework, what a lot of young artists don't do or current artists don't do in this business. Because to me, I know that you're a true artist of the game and want to be better because of artists like a Moni Love or Queen Latifah, like those artists that paved the way. Even Salt
Yeah.
and Pepper. Because the thing about it is, see, this is what I try to tell women or whatever. You can be sexy on a record. Salt
Yeah.
Pepper was sexy on the record. But
Right.
at the same time, they had stuff like they had Express Yourself. They had
Yeah.
songs like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can have those sexual songs or whatever, that sex appeal songs. This is the entertainment business. Ain't nothing, it is. But at the same time, what are we teaching our young ladies? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And to me, that's the kind of question. That's the question I want to ask you was, or do you feel like that you play a part in what the young women and young girls see in you, and how so, if that is the case?
Um, I definitely feel like. Wait, let me ask you this: are you saying like, how do I feel about the music industry right now, as far as female rap is concerned, or are you just saying like,
Well, yeah, I was gonna get to that. You can answer that question, but what I was asking you was, how important do you feel like your music and the way you carry yourselves looks toward like how the young ladies, like a 8-year-old girl in
oh,
Decatur,
yeah, 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 yeah,
or
yeah. Okay, I get you. I
how they
definitely
look
feel
at
like it
Miss Cox.
matters. Oh, I definitely feel like it
Okay.
matters for sure because like I spoke on earlier, I have nieces that definitely look up to me. Like I have two nieces that's like, "Oh, I want to do music. I want to rap." So like I even wrote one of my nieces a whole song. She went to the studio for her birthday, and like I am aware that they are definitely like paying attention to me. My other niece is like, I want to sing, I don't want to rap, but I need to be in the studio. Like, come on, what we doing? You always in the studio, you always got shows, you always busy, TT. Like, I want to do it. Come on, what we doing? So I definitely feel like it's extra pressure with them knowing that I have them watching me. But I feel like in regards to the female rap right now, I still attempt to maintain my own lane to where I'm not oversaturating the pussy rap lane. Like, I can give the fun music. That's why I said I make mood music, because I can give that. But then at the same time, I have other music that is of substance, that is really speaking on some real life things. Being, like I said, being in a relationship, being vulnerable, being in love, going through heartbreak, experiencing someone being disloyal to you, like real life things where I'm telling stories and other things. So I definitely feel like it matters for sure.
Okay. Have you got to the point yet where you've been asked to do like like go to speak at different like schools and things? Have you been approached about doing that yet, or have you done it?
School tours?
Yeah, like basically like where you would go and maybe speak to kids, may perform to,
Oh, like
but at the same
motivational
time you may speak
speaking.
to the.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't done any of that as of lately, as of yet. Not yet, but I'm definitely not opposed to it. For sure.
Okay, okay. Now, next question. Also in your bio, it talks about your acting career. You know what I mean? So you got that help that you got going on.
Yes.
Let's get into that. This is the acting
Okay.
part of the game. So, how did you get into that lane, also, young lady?
So again, when I was younger, my mother has always been like a I love my mother, but she's always been the one to push. Like, both your parents love you, show you love or whatever. But you have one that's a pusher and then the one that's laid back. My mother has always been the pusher, and my dad has always been the laid back and chill one. Like, oh, okay, you want to do this today? Go do whatever you want to do today. My mother's like, no, I see this in you, you're doing it, type of thing. So she always used to call me dramatic, and like I can cry and do all this extra stuff like that. So she's like, you're just so dramatic. So from when I was younger, she started putting me in acting classes. I want to say from when I was like 11 or 12 years old, I used to take acting classes and stuff like that. I did some plays and stuff when I was in, elementary, middle school, stuff like that. But more recently, I want to say the first movie I did was 23 or 22. I want to say maybe 22. And that was Hot Girls, and that's out now on Tubi, Amazon, and Peacock. And then after that, I did For the Gram with Roscoe Dash and Michael Montana. I did Rackets with Columbus Short in there. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Oh, and
Okay,
then
now let
Make
me
It
ask you
Rain.
this, because I'm a big Tubi. Let me ask
So
you
you
this, because I'm
probably
a big
seen one of
Tubi
my
fan. My
movies on
kids,
Tubi then.
that's what I'm about to say. Because now that you said that, I'm a more than likely go back and I'm gonna watch all these movies now. Were you in them long enough for me to give you a real critique? That's what I want to know.
Absolutely. And Hot Girls,
Okay,
like I
so
said,
I'm gonna go check these movies. I'm gonna text you now. You know what I mean? I'm
you
gonna text you
should.
and let you
Yes,
know
you
what I'm talking.
should. You should.
You know, yeah, so I'm a big Tubi fan. I was on Tubi before everybody else was, and my kids will vouch for me when I tell you that. But I was on Tubi probably the first. I don't know how long it's been out, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe whatever. I was on it from day one because I like watching black um directed films, and I also like, for whatever reason, I like bootleg street movies or whatever.
Hey,
But
it
you
is
know what
what
I
it
mean. But I
is.
always used to tell plots. Sometimes the acting ain't just great, but as far as the plots and the end and the plot twist at the end, they always be crazy plot twists at the end. I don't know if you was in those movies where they always had them crazy plot twists. You didn't see it coming type endings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I'm gonna definitely check you out. So, we're gonna
You're
take
definitely
one
gonna be
real.
able
We're
to
gonna
see
take a
me.
one. Okay, okay. We're gonna take one last break, and I'm just gonna ask you what the difference is between acting and music and how you like. So we'll be right back here on 95 South. Okay, we back here on 95 South TV. We got the legendary actress and musician, Miss Coxx in the building. You know what I'm saying? What you say? It's Coxx time.
It's Coxx time.
so so yeah, so I love like that. So before we get up out of here, let me ask. So what's the like the two, like the acting and the music? One, I'm figuring you might like music a little bit more, but how is acting? Like, how much do you love acting too?
As I've gotten older and um doing, like I said, I've done three different films recently, and I think my love for acting comes with me being able to be a different person. Um like getting to know the character that I need to convey and then just embodying it. Like in one of the movies, Hot Girls, and that one was very similar to my me as a whole, like being the younger sister, but making sure that my nieces and nephews are straight. That was one of the roles I played, but then it also showed me as I got older. So I had to come back with the gray wig as an old auntie and stuff like that. So that was definitely fun being able to be that different person for sure. Um, the music is also fun too. I don't know. Like I feel like I have more fun in music, but acting is like a really, 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 really close. It's a close tie to it, honestly. I don't
Okay,
know. I don't know if I
okay.
can.
So I'm doing more stuff, and more movies and films and stuff. My son actually he's a New York doing his like second or third project. He's a script writer on
Okay.
with his production
You need to
team.
tell your son to call me. What's
He's in.
up?
Hey, well, I need to link y'all up, man. Y'all can do some TV stuff, some music, and all that. Cause we got
Yes.
my son got his own label. It used to be got his own label with his own. He got distribution and all that with it. So definitely
So
need to. I'm gonna
why you
link
didn't set now?
definitely.
Why didn't you set that up?
I'm gonna set it up. I had to meet you first. I gotta vex you first. Now I can't just have you. A dad. I gotta protect my kids now. So, but now that I see that how
Protect
you
them
get,
from
I'm
what?
cool with you. I'm just saying I'm cool with you now. I'm cool. We good now. We can talk. We can talk offline now. Now we can get that popping. Now we good. Yeah, yeah. So hey, ain't no issues no more now. I know you a good person. You came from my man's down there in Alabama, so I know you good folk. You know what I mean? So I ain't worried about it. You know what I mean? We gonna link. We gonna definitely link. So before we get out of here, let me just say this. Shout out to Village Global Network, DuPont Network. Shout out to the 100. We are with 200 countries, worldwide, 10 radio stations, independent chicks, She Real Radio. So this interview will get played on all those platforms over the next week or so, couple of weeks. It's gonna be on demand, so you can catch this interview at any time also. But it will air. This interview air next p.m. on the DuPont network or whatever. So y'all can go check this out again or whatever off of Facebook. But do subscribe to my page 910 Sports Entertainment Network. And before we get out of here, I'm gonna tell this young lady, actually young lady, to tell us where they can follow her at and and check her out and her new music and the whole nine.
So you guys can follow me everywhere at Miss Coxx. That's MZCOXX. Again, that's MZCOXX if you're nasty. Oh yeah, it's Coxx time.
Not Triple X if you're nasty, okay.
Triple X if you're nasty. Oh yeah.
All right. Oh, hey, nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I heard the Hair Boy song. I already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, But anyway, I appreciate you coming on here, and I know you're going to go all the way to the top.
Thank you so
of this
much for
thing.
having me.
Yeah, anytime, and I'm gonna follow you. If hopefully I'm always around the country, moving around. But if I'm in the city and you got something going on, just hit me up
Yes.
and just let me know when you perform it. But do my best to come out and see you if I'm available to do so. But I
And you're
appreciate you
in
coming on here
Atlanta
tonight.
or Birmingham?
And you have a blessed. I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. And, you know what I'm saying, I'll be hitting you up. You know what I'm saying? You have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Yes, you hit me up. Tell your son to hit me up. We need to work. Let's go. It's Coxx time.
All right. Let's get
Brown skin girl, and she knew I was out to go and clear my mind.